The propaganda from the media has put this entire country in a complete trance. And if you think that everything is going to work out great in America because it worked out great before people were in a trance like they are now, like you people are all in now, all of you, okay? And I'm going to point it out in a big time case called Casey Anthony, who was accused of murdering her daughter that she was absolutely loved to death. That the government decided, this is the motive that the government chose. She didn't do this. They said that because she loved to go to bars, that the kid was in the way, so she murdered the kid by taking some duct tape and suffocating the kid after she chloroformed the kid. Okay, that's the story. That is absurd and ridiculous. And yet 99.9% of Americans want to bash our brains in. That's where we are right now, okay? In other words, here's a woman that's been molested since she was 8 years old, who is now proven not guilty in a murder case by some absolute miracle. And I'll get to that in a second with Jose Baez, because when he said this was an accident, it would have to be the only one time in millions where some kid drowned in a pool and that kid's body was buried in the woods and they didn't just report it because it's an accident. No, let's make it look like a murder. Let's make a real accident where the kid actually went up the steps on the pool and fell in and drowned. Let's just make this look like a murder because the mother's going to get angry. Of course the mother's going to get angry if the kid's dead. But the kid didn't die by accident. She was murdered by George, the father, the molester, who molested Casey since she was 8 years old, and then molested Kaylee that morning on June 16th and knew that, I went way off because he's nuts, right? Only molesters have to be crazy. I mean, literally psychotic, okay? So he's psychotic and he does this idiotic molesting that he can't control, and now he's so afraid of going to prison that he just smothers her with a pillow, and then after he runs into her room and wakes her up and says, hey, we got to find Kaylee, and she then looks into the pool, right, and there's nothing in the pool, and there's no ladder up on the pool, okay, and then she goes back in the house and he comes in with the body of Kaylee dead, soaking wet, okay, with his arms wet because he just dunked her in to make it look like he drowned her, or she drowned, right? Well, if she drowned, what did she do? All of a sudden, 20 minutes after Casey looked in the pool, she came diving over the side of the pool. She could dive over the side without a ladder? Of course not. She's a little tiny girl, okay? So all of this comes out in a deposition, and Baez is sitting right there with Ashton and Burdick and Cheney Mason. They're all sitting right there, and Danziger is telling them, listen, I was so afraid that the guy might be actually innocent that I lost sleep. Well, why are you losing sleep? If she's just a liar, and she just makes up one lie after the next, like she had the nanny and she had the job and she wasn't pregnant, okay? And she doesn't know who the father is either, okay? These are all lies. So of course she knows the father's George. The kid looks just like George. Then they said, the media says, well, they did a DNA test on George. First of all, why would they test the guy if he wasn't screwing her? Number one, it wouldn't make that's absurd, right? So why did they test her? Well, they didn't test her. No, they didn't test George to see if he was the father of Kaylee. That's a total media lie. Prove that test. Let's see the test, okay? Where was the test? Who paid for the test? Let's see it. When did this happen? You understand? Why did they bury the body? I mean, why didn't they bury the body? That's what Casey wanted. She's the mother, right? No, they cremated the body because they don't want a DNA now from her bones that they could prove that George molested her. Was the father. So obviously he was the father of Kaylee. He's got to be molesting Casey. That's simple enough, isn't it? Okay, now we're going to switch gears right away to 9/11. because this is the most ridiculous story of all time. That all these girders were cut, steel girders, thousands and thousands of them were cut. They're laying all over the place. I got pictures of them, legit pictures. That the cops said they were legit. They just don't know how the guys got in there to set up the explosives. You understand? Okay? So they got in there, and on July the 12th, there was a meeting in Ashcroft's office that proves that. You see, I got the proof on all this stuff. That's why Marshal Matt, what's his name, Matt Parker, came to visit me with two other marshals on Friday because of a call that I made to a U.S. attorney about all these crimes that the United States Attorney, the Department of Justice, and the FBI are all covering up. You understand? So this is a big-time story that's going to take more than 10 minutes. And I can only take 10 minutes on this YouTube thing for some reason. Okay, I don't know how it works properly. So anyways, the point is, I'm going to give a lecture on the Casey Anthony story. And the way she functioned in a crazy, erratic, insane way when she went into complete shock. And this is what the shrink said, not just me. The shrink said she was in total shock when she saw this dead kid, okay? And then she just kowtowed to everything George told her to do, just like she's been doing since she's been molested as a sex slave since she was 8 years old. And all these lawyers know everything I'm telling you. It's all, they were in the deposition. I read the deposition, okay? I know every single word they know. You understand? Exactly. So when I told the Orlando Sentinel the same story, and Michelle Guido said that the reporters read the deposition transcript. First she lied anyway. She said she read it. I asked her. I said, did you read it? She said, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Then she said, no, my reporters read. So in other words, she's going to rely on these reporters, right? So don't they have any reading comprehension? Or they want to cover this up because they lied about the whole thing. You understand? HLN and the Orlando Sentinel lied about this case before the trial, during the trial, and ever since the trial. Okay? So if they actually read the deposition, they know exactly what I'm saying to you right now. And you can read it. It's online. It's not like I got something you can't read. Okay? And when you read it, keep in mind what I'm telling you. Because if you don't, you probably miss the whole point. You understand? So yeah, George put the ladder up after Casey left the house. And then when Cindy came home, she saw the ladder up, right? And she goes back to work the next day and she's telling everybody at work, the ladder was up. The ladder on the pool was up. She's making this huge deal about the ladder being up. Okay? Why? Why is that? Because the ladder was down. Okay? Until George put it up because Casey left the house. So the lawyers all know that. You understand? And the shrinks all know that. Because if they don't know it, I'm explaining it now. Okay? And I called Danziger and Weitz and they don't want to hear about it. They want to cover this up. They want it all covered up. They don't care. If Casey Anthony has the most miserable life on earth because she's innocent and all you people have been completely lied to by the shrinks because they don't want to own up now, okay? And by all these lawyers and the prosecutor and the defense, and he's cooking up this idiotic accident thing that never happened and he knows it, and anybody that has a half a brain knows it. You see, if you could believe simple, ridiculous crap like that, there's something wrong with you. So if you're so arrogant that you don't want to know, uh-oh, wait a minute, I'm buying real nutso stuff, okay? And by the way, not only is it going to destroy Casey Anthony, it's going to destroy me because the economy is wiping out and this government has no idea what to do and they're just printing up crazy trillions of dollars and the banks are just shooting dice and they call it proprietary trading and we're just suckers going to keep electing the same government that are taking all these bribes, that are keeping all these crooks out of jail. You understand? So if you don't report this, if you don't understand 9/11, you don't understand what the government is doing, that's no different than Casey. So she's sitting over there in her room with her dog, completely out of her gourd, because she went into shock, and she's still evidently in shock, otherwise she would report it to the FBI. And the FBI I've been talking to for a good while now, they won't touch this case because they want to cover up the Florida state attorney. That's who screwed up the case. They should have dropped that case and grabbed George and prosecuted George for the murder that he committed at that point in April, when they learned from the shrinks what really happened here. You understand? But no, they're no good. They're all no good. And that's why we're going down the drain. And if you keep buying this crap and this ridiculous nonsense, it's because they got you in a complete trance. And you're collapsing yourself. You're self-destructive. That's psychotic. Goodbye.